enjoyed Banjo pretty good. When you realize what the name means. Well, we're honored to have two of the filmmakers from this block here with us. I've got Cameron Poletti and Andre LeBlanc, right? You both of you here? Yep. So first, let's want to have you introduce yourselves. Tell them which movie you worked on, and what role you had in making.
Yeah, I was the writer and director of Masks.
I'm Cameron Poletti. I directed Banjo.
I knew, because of course I've seen these films, as you might imagine. I knew there was going to be a point when everybody in the place groaned, and it was more than I could have hoped for. So let's start with you. Let's talk about Banjo a little bit. So there's one, like I've been telling people sort of what this film is about. Oh, you need to see this one because it's about the in vague terms. And but I knew I wasn't giving that much away because there is a very big twist, a very big comedic twist that happens when he decides that it's a circumcision cult is after him. Where did that come from? And is it true?
Yeah, it's true. I'm like, where did just the cult part come from?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
You could talk about the whole idea of the short film.
Oh God. We'll start with the cult first. I mean, I'm a big fan of I just like cult horror movies, and so when I pitched this film to my brother wrote it, and he's also he plays Gabe in the film, I just wanted to pitch this hilarious sex injury horror movie, and and it should be a cult, and that was basically what I pitched to him. I was like, let's do this injury that is a real injury that can happen to people, and what's the highest stakes? It's if he's never had sex before and this happens to him, and if it turns out to be a cult, that'd be lovely. And then he just took that and ran with it.
I love the little the masks they wore.
That was actually a last minute thing because we were just going to have them in white robes, just like classic cult white robes. And then I said to Duncan Reddy, our production designer, could you make dick masks? And he, without hesitating, just said, yes, I can. And so he 3D modeled those, and then he painted those, and I have one, Duncan, our production designer, has one, and Trevor, our producer, has one, and mine is in my bedroom signed by the whole cast and crew.
Our films have thematic similarities with Masks.
Masks would have been a very different film if that was one of the masks.
If you make the sequel, we'll learn it.
Well, that's a good point to talk to you a little bit about the concept of masks. That also takes a not as funny of a turn, but that was a cool sound. It's part of the slideshow. There's sound. The idea of using the sort of the masks as therapy feels a little innocuous at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
But then it does take a dark turn very quickly. Where did that concept come from? Is that a form of therapy that you're aware of, or
Not that I'm aware of. I might try it on myself if it was true, but no, I've never heard of it before. But I think that for me, it's the inspiration of the masks is of the whole idea came from not being able to see someone for who they actually really are, and all the people that you interact with, that they have like a self, like a primal identity that you know, you may not see, and it was the idea of like exploring that in a really, really dark way.
Yeah. And at the end, what we're looking at is like a mask of herself. Right?
Yes.
That's like unlocking whatever that hidden identity.
Yeah, and actually, like one of the, and this is like, it's not really on screen, but one of the movies that I was inspired by, it's a book, actually started as a book, was We Need to Talk About Kevin, which I know is not like, yeah, it's not really on there, but like it's that idea of like, you know, you have the father who's so blind to the reality of his own family, and then you have the wife who sees basically everything, and then taking it more in a horror direction as a jumping off point.
So brutal. We remember being very, very stunned at the end of it, the way it turns, which is in part due to the performances in the film. You want to talk a little bit about your performers?
Yeah. So one of the interesting things, like for Cindy, who plays the wife, is that, and it was really like challenging because I didn't know what we were getting into, because she's not only obstructed by the fact that she has barely any dialogue, she's silent through like 3/4 of it, but she's also wearing a mask which obfuscates like her performance even further. So she's has to sort of like kind of talk through that, you know, get beyond that somehow. But she actually like once she got used to wearing that mask, she actually found it very freeing, and she really liked it. But it was really challenging, and one of the things, like, you may not notice this, but she actually doesn't blink until the animask comes on, and on top of that, a lot of it is like, it's like her silences, and I didn't even see it when I was on the set. Like I knew she was amazing, but when I saw her, like when we were editing, and just all what was going on, even when she's not saying anything, it felt like there was so much depth there. And I thought he was just really great. He was just a great foil to her, and just really good at sort of like almost being like an everyman, and just the way he was able to interact with her, and we kind of identify through him. But yeah, I mean, I think I say this to everyone, no matter how good like the technical, even if the face pull was really cool, if they weren't delivering, the whole thing would have been really bad. We wouldn't be sitting here right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the key to sort of the premise working.
Yeah, for sure.
In a second, I'm going to throw to the audience. So if you guys have questions, start ruminating. Get those hands ready. Let's get back to Banjo a little bit, and we'll talk about your performance. So one of them is your brother.
Yeah. I had the privilege of growing up with this whole cast. So my brother, TJ Sullinger, our lead, my brother was his welcome buddy in the 3rd grade, and so we've known each other since then. And TJ actually hadn't acted in 7 years. We had gone through a couple actors, and this was a non-union short, and our lead that we had cast was union, and we couldn't get the paperwork in time, so we were scrambling. We were wondering like who could possibly pull off and like kind of spearhead this film, and my brother goes, "What about TJ?" And I go, "Of course, he could totally do it. He hasn't done it. He hasn't acted in 7 years, and then he just delivers this like killer performance." And then Claire, we sang from the hometown, and Hunter, who joined because he was friends with our second AD, she actually just brought him by my house because I hadn't seen her in a while, and I was like, "Oh, this guy has great energy. What does he do?" He was an actor. I had him audition, and then I was still auditioning a couple other people. I went to LA Comic-Con, and I'm walking just down one of the aisles, and I see this elf pass by me and just like make eye contact with me, and it was Hunter, and I was like, "This is a sign. Do you want the part?"
Like literally dressed as an elf?
He was dressed as an elf.
Yeah.
No, just a real elf. Yeah.
I don't know if that was like just a characterization or if it was actually. Awesome.
And so, they all just have this, because they've been acting like since drama class in high school together. They all just have this really fantastic chemistry together.
So it really shows. Like you feel like they're all buddies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I did find myself being like, how old are these guys? Like,
Everyone laughs whenever TJ says he's 22. And he was 23 when we filmed this. He's just,
You just had the facial hair.
it's just. I tried to have him. I tried to have him shave all of his facial hair off, and he was like, "I am doing so much for this movie. You are not taking my mustache."
yeah, like that would be a hard no for me, unfortunately. I've seen my face without a beard, and it's not okay. All right, questions from the audience. Let's see them. Yeah, way in the back there. You
I
have
got
to shout.
one for masks. First of all, freaking incredible. Chills throughout like the whole thing. I do a lot of staring contests, and she did a phenomenal job. And I caught that real quick. But with that being said, the mom is the one that's wearing all the masks and stuff. Did you have a direction of like that was her channeling what she felt other people would be like? Or was there more of a supernatural feel where,
So,
I don't know.
without like projecting too much, I always made it as like, for me, like, there's always a supernatural element to it, and I know like there's different readings and different interpretations, so without like saying too much and putting too much onto that, I always thought that there's something deeper beyond just like the normal in her. But I've heard like many people say in retrospect that like there's elements of this that sort of like read into like postpartum and things like that, like that people are saying like, and even people that were auditioning early on, that's what they were channeling, and I thought those were all correct. My own interpretation, there was definitely something evil that started, but like probably before that, and one of the things is that I've been working on a longer version of it, and so I've really had to like figure out what that lane is, and definitely for me at least, there is a supernatural lane to this for sure.
Thank you.
Awesome. Anybody else? Yeah, right here.
Question for Cameron. In that I'm not familiar with your body of work, like what was the inspiration for like just the physical comedy and all that, and like the timing was impeccable, right?
Yeah.
So like, is this you're coming from a horror thing and then building in the comedy, or like how did you build this?
Yeah, this is my directorial debut, like outside of like shorts in film school. We're big. I mean, a lot of the inspirations for this, it was Edgar Wright, of course, Sam Raimi, and then a big inspiration is the Marx Brothers and Abbott and Costello. My siblings and I just really good. Like, Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein is one of my favorite. I was telling someone my favorite horror movies the other day, and I was like, yeah, Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein is up there.
Legit.
And just, yeah, that like zip zap timing that everyone has, and I edited it as well, and just, that was such a rewarding edit, because just, yeah, the timing between our entire cast was just, and my brother's writing, I mean, like, I'm so jealous. He's so fucking funny, and it's so annoying. But also, what a privilege that, like, I get to work with him, and then we get to make stuff together.
Yeah. Another
Thank
question?
you.
I have to wave them around. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I kind of like to piggyback on that last question. So this is the second time I've seen Banjo. I saw it at the Crypticon, and the audience, it was a very similar reaction. They were just fucking howling. Kudos to both of you for just amazing films. To piggyback on the last question, is this the style that you plan to project your careers on, or do you have a lot of different masks in the films that you plan on making?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes and no. We, like, our next couple of things that we're planning, I love spiritual trilogies like Edgar Wright's Cornetto trilogy, John Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy. And right now we're kind of in the budgetary zone of only being able to do shorts at the moment, unless. And so we're kind of thinking, this was just such a fulfilling experience making this short. And so the crew had such a great time, so they tell me. And so we all were like itching to do the next thing, and so we think we're planning to do 2 more shorts like Banjo with the same cast, just different. What we want, we found like
Different injuries.
Yeah, different. We're in the pocket of comedy, but we kind of are like, oh, we can do different genres. So horror comedy. Our next one, we're looking at a 1950s sci-fi comedy, and then maybe a spy comedy. But then also to just, because I really want to do just full tilt horror, we've been looking at adapting H.P. Lovecraft's The Dunwich Horror.
Have you heard that we run the H.P. Lovecraft?
I found that out today.
Just say. Anthony?
I mean, for me, it's always been like sci-fi and horror. Usually the stories are wildly different, but they always have some sort of element of like a primal identity thing of someone sort of like there's an element of pulling off the mask in every, not literally, but like there's a thematic element of that, something I'm really fascinated by, especially like photographs and photography. Like the truth behind a photograph, and I've always been intrigued. Like all my other projects feature photography very heavily because you see a picture, what's the real truth behind the picture? And I've always been really, and that in and of itself is kind of a mask as well. And so that has always been an inspiration. And it doesn't have to be horror, it doesn't have to be sci-fi, but it tends to be what I work in, and I love horror. And I'm still working on horror. I mean. Trying to make a feature version of this as well, just like and day job I work in post-production, so I work in stuff like Love, Death, and Robots, which is the thing that I always talking about. So I've been working on that for 8 years.
You know our friend Phil Gelat, the writer, Philip Gelat?
Name might be familiar, I don't.
He wrote a few episodes.
Oh wow, okay. Yes, I do.
Well, that is basically all the time we've got. I know it goes, when you're up here, it goes by super fast. Yeah. But before you leave, tell everyone where they can find out more about your projects and more about you and follow you online. Just a reminder, if you like these movies, review them on Letterboxd. I imagine both of them are up there, right?
I discovered we had a letterbox today.
It's really disturbing to find it for the first time.
Yeah, there were 28 reviews and I had to read all of them.
Where can we find out?
My Instagram is cam_Poletti, CAM_POLETTI. The Banjo Instagram is banjo.movie. And you can find me outside after this.
Yes.
Yeah, please come talk to us for sure. And I'm not I don't have a huge social media presence, but my Instagram is Andrea, _LEB, and I keep that as my main film page and my own page, so do everything on there.
Awesome. 2 very fine films. We're so glad the 2 of you in particular could be here. Such a weird Q&A.
But a lot of similarities at the same time.
Peeling back the
layers.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you say?
Also, just I feel very privileged to be here. Like the other films that I've seen in this morning's block and your guys' feature this morning, and then all of the other films in your film. Like
this is amazing.
Yeah. So and
this
thank you
really
to you guys.
awesome.
Like what a fantastic festival.
And this audience is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We always tell people here in Portland we have the best audience in the world, and we're not joking. We're not blowing smoke up anyone's ass. We've been to other film festivals in other states. Guys, you'll love movies in a way that other people don't.
Hooah!
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.